Welcome to the space where creators have aligned a positive and intellectual collab of open minds. We're sharing and learning from one another, it's a vibe. ReadswithRosa podcast on the mic. Subscribe, educator spitting bars. I guess you didn't know I'm multifaceted and humble, checking off life goals. The classroom is my comfort zone where I plant and sow seeds of knowledge, compassion, empathy, and hope. Reading is the key to unlocking your potential. Countless benefits including cognitive and mental. Regardless of the genre, books are highly influential. Go get yours, I'll get mine. Making strides, monumental. Come rock with me and get down to this new jam. With my friends, I had a very simple plan. Educate the masses through books and life lessons. It's the grand slam. I'm out. Tala falava, kia orana, and welcome to the ReadswithRosa podcast. Recently, I've been thinking about how people are always asking questions about what it's like to be a teacher in Japan, where they can apply for jobs, and also what qualifications would one need. So on today's show, I wanted to bring on someone who works for Interac, Japan's largest private provider of professional foreign teachers to the Japanese government through its ALT program. Fam, I am really excited to welcome to the show a friend, but also a fellow Pacific Islander and educator based here in Japan, Tui Beach. Woohoo! Welcome! How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
How was your week?
It's been pretty busy. I just finished a whole week of teacher observations, so it's been pretty busy, but it's been good. It's been nice to connect with the teachers in my area, so it's been pretty good.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that. We're going to get into Interac. We're going to get into their assistant language teaching program, ALT program, but also this amazing work that Tui is doing for them. So we got lots to talk about. We have lots to talk about, fam. But first of all, I'd like to give guests the opportunity just to, give a brief intro, shout out your villages, your people, your hometown, and where you are currently living in Japan.
So kia orana. Originally I was born in Auckland, New Zealand. My father is also from New Zealand. He's Māori from the Papakura area. And my mother is from the Cook Islands, from Rarotonga and Maniki. So yeah, I'm a bit of a fruit salad myself. Right now I'm living in Yokohama, in Japan. But I work in Tokyo, so it's always a commute in the morning for me.
Yeah, we're about that commuter life, fam. That's what we do. We are about, yes, that commuter life with all that craziness. If you want to beat that crazy commuter life, those packed trains, you got to get up like me, get up super early and try and get on those trains before the madness starts. But Yokohama, man, that's probably my favorite city. In Japan. There's so much to do there. But hey, let's get into this, Tui. Thank you for that intro. At this point of your life, did you ever imagine that you would be living overseas, let alone in Japan? Like, how many years has it been now?
I'm going on to my 5th year now. It'll be my 5th year next January. So yeah,
I mean, did you ever think you'd be living in Japan? Was it something that had always been in the plans for you?
I don't know. I think when I was younger, I always wanted to go abroad. You see movies and you see oh my gosh, this is this bigger world out there. I don't think I would specifically say that I saw myself in Japan, but I guess I saw myself at some point leaving New Zealand. And now here I am 4 years down the line.
Yeah, what did you want to be when you were growing up?
It's so funny. When I was a kid, because I have a lot of cousins. I have 27 cousins. So, and I'm one of the older. I'm the oldest boy in my family. So when I was younger, I always felt like I was a teacher already. And I'd pretend and I get my little maths book and I'd write my cousins' names and I'd take attendance, who's coming to the party. So I think when I was younger, I wanted to be a teacher. But as I grew up, I started wanting to be, I was really interested in books. So I became a librarian. I wanted to get into acting. I wanted to do a whole lot of things. But right now, I think when now that I'm a teacher, I'm like, well, I guess since I wanted to be a teacher when I was young, this is it. I've reached my goal and I'm happy and I'm doing a good job, I think I can say.
Yeah. Every time we catch up, we have, no lies, everyone, hours and hours of just talking shop and just talking about everything. I love it. It's so interesting that you say, mentioning what the things that you wanted to be growing up, the acting and all that kind of stuff. It's so interesting because I'm listening to you and I'm like, yo, I see that in you. I see how you have taken those things, and now as a teacher, you're using just these things that you're passionate about, things that
Right.
I mean, maybe you're not an actor, but I feel like I can see how you take that real energetic vibe, how you're able to build rapport with students, with your learners. I see how you take the energy into the classroom. I just know you're the cool teacher. Am I lying?
I don't want to say it myself.
It's okay. Too many of our teachers don't like to, boast and say what they're good at, but I just know you're the cool teacher. Were you encouraged to follow your dreams, knowing that there were a lot of these different things you wanted to do when you were younger? Now you're teaching. Along the way, were you encouraged, after leaving high school, to follow the path that you wanted?
I think because even when I was in college, when I was in high school, I still finding myself. Like, I took piano lessons because I thought I'd be a musician. I bought a bass, like my father bought me a bass guitar because I thought I was going to be a rock star. Like, there was just so many like processes that got me to here. But I think especially my family have been like really supportive, and I think it, growing up, it was a bit tough because I'm the oldest of 4 siblings. My mother and father were working full time, so it was always like babysitting duties. But I think when I got into university and I started becoming an adult and started making my own money, I think my parents were really supportive of that. And sometimes I try to like give them money when I was working. They'd be like, no, that's your money. And I really appreciated that, that sort of indirect support, I guess. That they're not 100% sure what I'm doing, but they just know that I'm happy and that I'm doing what I'm doing, and they love it.
So do you have time, like these days, do you have time to do a bit of reading, or does teacher life keep you super busy? I mean, are you able to, when it comes to reading and books and things like that, are you able to apply that in any of your classes, or at least recommend books to your learners? Or is it just really trying to find time to kind of like,
I think like it's not that like I don't have time, because I have time, and I always have like it's always like something that I like to do when I have a lot of downtime. I wouldn't say like I always like reading like a physical book, but these days I'm really into reading like news about the world, and just learning some facts so that I can, when kids have these questions like, oh, what is it like in this country, or what is it like in that country, how come this country is like that, and how come, like, why are students like this in this country, I can explain it because I've done the reading about it. But I think in terms of like reading time, in my current position and like with all the work, I don't have a lot of free time, but summer vacation's coming up, so we're waiting for that.
Beach and book. Beach and book.
I have a nice balcony to sit on too and read.
Yeah, I mean, the weather has been really nice, but then we randomly get this rain, and it is rainy season for everyone who is listening. It is currently June is rainy season. They declared it. They do this whole thing where they officially declare like cherry blossom season. They officially declare every season. So it's currently like rainy season at the moment. So it's very humid. I mean, how are you coping with the weather? Personally, how are you coping?
I don't know if you can hear it, but my aircon's going on.
Like, I've actually got mine on as well.
It's going on. Like, it's a bit cloudy today, but I think it's like really humid. So like I can see that my like windows are fogging up because of the aircon and the outside heat. So but I think I mean, and you might notice I got a bit of a tan sunburn. because I was out yesterday with my kids. We had outdoor class yesterday, and I didn't put on sunscreen.
Yeah.
So here we are. But
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
with this like rainy season, when it's rainy season in Japan, it pours. It's not
yeah,
like, oh, there's some rain and there's some sun. It pours. It's like monsoons. It's
yes.
windy, it's rainy, it's wet. Everybody's got umbrellas poking in each other's eyes. It's just, that's the season it is now.
For real, for real. And can we just also mention the fact that we haven't even reached the crazy humidity that Japan, I mean, this is not even,
Exactly.
we haven't even reached that like unbearable humidity that everyone hates.
Yeah.
And also it's, they've already started typhoon season. They've started counting the typhoons
Yeah.
already, like little typhoons. So it's a whole situation from now until like September-ish, like in September. So yeah.
It's that season.
It's that season. I wanted to ask about living abroad away from your family. What is some important advice or what important advice that your parents or elders have given you, and like living abroad, it just makes you always remember that piece of advice that maybe mum has shared with you, and it's something that you really hold close to you, like don't ever forget this, like
Yeah, I think, and you just said it. Like, I think when I left, and I love my grandmother because my grandmother supported me the most to come here. She like gave me the money to come here. But I remember the one thing that she said is, never forget your roots, never forget where you're from, and always keep that. We say Māori pepeha, keep that going because, you never know, you'll bump into someone, and it's always that time to share who you are. And I think even as a teacher, and to the students, a lot of Japanese students don't know the outside world. So being able to share culture, being able to share my life story with the kids of Japan, is a really like beautiful thing. Like I always remember the words of my grandmother whenever I'm in class, and I'm always showing off because I say, "Oh, look, this is the marae my grandfather built, and look at my grandma and her aunties. They made this korowai." So it's always just like relating it back to home. Yeah.
Do your kids have a lot of questions about when you show those photos? Like, are they just kind of like incomplete, or because for most of them it's the first time seeing maybe a marae, or
Yeah.
a lot of them know rugby and the haka, but then the significance and symbolism, all connected. Do they like
Yeah.
buzz out?
Yeah, they really do. And like I remember about 2 years ago, so this is just after COVID actually, but 2 years ago, for sports day, the boys at one of my schools, they just put on the haka for me, and it was amazing. And it just really showed that like I was connecting with these kids with my roots. But I think, especially when you show the photos, and it's like the kids love seeing me when I was a kid, as a kid with holding my grandpa's hand in front of the marae, and they just like, here's the marae here, but oh my gosh, who cares? There's Tui as a kid. So, but I think they're always so surprised, and they always have a lot of questions. What's this? What's it for? Who lives here? What are you doing here? It's a beautiful thing when you get the questions.
Are you more proud to be a Cook Island-Māori, living abroad, or Kiwi living abroad? Are you more proud now because it's what I mean is because you're trying to stay connected to those things that you cannot be a part of, your family, your community, that connection to the land, to the ocean, things like that. I know this is a question I ask everyone because I can tell you that, like, for me, it's missing all of that makes me just try and find so many different ways to stay connected. It's not that I'm more I think I've always been proud to be a Samoan, but more so living abroad, living away from home. Sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, no, I think I agree with you. Like, I always feel like, like even back home, you know, just being part of the family and, you know, going to family events, you always feel like a sense of pride. But I think being away from that, being out of the country, and then being in a place where nobody knows about your country, that you have that ability to, you know, not promote, how do I say it, like the ability to spread it, it makes me even more proud. And you know, it's in New Zealand, sorry, in Japan especially, when you see like, you know, a fellow islander, when you see a fellow Maori, you see like, or even if you just see like food even, or like, you know, I think I always get like buzzed out when I see like a Japanese guy with like the tats, and I was like, hey, did you get that in New Zealand? They're like, yeah. It's like, wow. But I feel like the sense of pride has really increased since I've come to Japan. And you know, you said it yourself, like being away from it, you like you start to miss it, like you start to miss home, and the things that make you proud to be from New Zealand, to be from the Cook Islands, to be Maori.
Is there anything other than, you know, family, community? Is there anything that you especially miss about New Zealand that doesn't include your loved ones? You know, your immediate friends and family.
This is gonna sound really antisocial.
Just be honest.
It's gonna sound really antisocial, but I miss the lack of population. Like in Japan, there's a lot of people, and it's just crazy. But I think in New Zealand, I liked the fact that there was, you know, like there was always a seat on the train. There was always a seat on the bus. There was like, you know, you can cross the road and not worry about tripping over someone who's also walking the same pace as you. But you know, it's all part of that. And I think sometimes I just miss, you know, food, like especially the food. Like you know, a lot of like the ingredients that we have back in New Zealand, it's hard to find here. Like coconut cream, can't find coconut cream here unless you buy it on Amazon. So like if I want to add, like, you know, my parents used to add coconut cream to like fish, curry.
Everything.
When I add it, I was like, oh, I guess I have to use coconut milk.
Yeah, for real. For real. Yeah, hard day. I was gonna say, yeah, coconut milk, guys. So hey, let's get into, you know, we'll come back to this, but let's get into Japan and work. So as I mentioned in the introduction, you work for Interac Japan.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your company and your role? Your current role, you've been here 5 years, your current role in your company.
So I sound a bit like promotion, but
Do it.
as Interac, no. Interac is as you mentioned before, one of the largest ALT companies in Japan. They have a lot of areas around Japan. I'm based in the Tokyo branch, but they have a lot of areas, and you know, they have about 3,000 ALTs around Japan. So I'm based in Tokyo. My role as of this year, actually, my role changed a bit, and I am now what we call the consulting head teacher of the Shinagawa area, which means I'm in charge of not only my own schools, because I have 2 of them, not only my schools, but just supporting my team. I have about 18 members in my Shinagawa team, just supporting them not only with you know, their professional development, but just you know, their personal, you know, needs here in Japan, because you know, some people you know, struggle coming from a country that like such as like the USA or Canada, and then they come to a country where everything is complete opposite. And yeah, it's so this is my 4th year. So I started with Interac as soon as I came to Japan. This is my 4th year. Technically it's my 5th school year, but it's my 4th year as an Interac instructor. Before that, I was just but I was an ALT in the same area, and this year I was promoted, I guess. I was given the title of
That's awesome.
consulting head teacher. So yeah.
That's cool, man. And like I said, huge congratulations. I always love when we can catch up,
Yeah.
and just talk, just share about work and stuff. And it's always exciting for me to hear how you've been progressing in your company, and the hard work that you're doing, not just in the classroom, but just the support that you're able to offer to other new teachers who, perhaps new to Japan or to the
Mm.
company. So it's really cool. I love your vibe, and especially what you're doing in those spaces, in that space that you're at Interac. I've heard the biggest difference between the JET program and Interac is that in the JET program, they do team teaching. So it's usually led in the classroom. It could be a communication English class, English communication lesson, and it's led by the JTE, Japanese
Mm.
teacher of English, and then the ART is kind of supporting that work. Whereas with Interact, it's ART led instruction, meaning the
Mm.
ART, the assistant language teacher, they are leading the instruction with the support of, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, tell me what it's like in terms of your experiences. Obviously, your role has changed now,
Mm.
bit of management as well as the teaching, but being able to lead the instruction in your class, like, how has that really helped you to, I guess, grow as an educator, but also have a better understanding of the different learners
Mm.
and the different Japanese learners, the different levels that the students bring to the class.
Yeah, I think first and foremost the importance of having that ALT in the classroom is exposure.
Mm,
We always say that ALTs are more cultural ambassador than they are
mm,
like a teacher. But of course, we still have that teacher role. In particular, in my area, Shinagawa, it's not the same for all areas. So
mm,
some areas will be exactly how you mentioned, the JTE leads
mm,
or the
mm.
homeroom teacher leads, and the ALT is there to support or sometimes it's sad to say, but they end up becoming like a tape recorder where they
Right,
just
right.
repeat after
Mm,
this teacher because just for pronunciation practice. But
mm,
I think one of the special things about Shinagawa, not talking it up or anything, but the one of the special things about Shinagawa is it is very ALT led, and it does focus a lot on sharing the differences between
mm,
Japan and New Zealand, and it's always coming back to, hey, you're teaching in junior high school. How was junior high school back home?
mm,
And what kind of lunch do you have here? Something like that. Um, I think it's the difference really is that having that communicative. How do you say, like, leading the class in a
mm.
communicative way, you get to give the lessons in a completely different way as to how they would normally do lessons in
Like
Japanese.
in a grammar class, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Really
Yeah,
like text
yeah,
based, like,
yeah. This
mm,
plus this is makes this
right.
grammar point, something like that. You get to be able to give them like, and a lot of the time, ALT lessons are really like practical,
Mm,
communicative languages, things like ordering in a restaurant, going to the airport, things
mm,
like
mm.
that. So it's giving the students like that kind of contextual exposure.
Mm. In your, when you reflect on your 4 or 5 years with the company, and especially the ART part of your, the teaching, the instruction part of your job, what have been some challenges that you personally have faced or have really had to overcome to
Mm,
be better in the classroom?
yeah, I think when I first came, I was battling with a lot of like, how do you say, just judgment, not like
Mm,
judgment, because like I think the previous that like I took over someone, and the previous ALT did things a certain way. So when I
mm,
came in and I was doing it this, they were like, that's not how so and so does it. And I said, this is how I'm going to do it, and this is how it's going to go. I think and I think a lot of ALTs do deal with that kind of clash with the teachers, especially when like for myself, I went before I even came to Japan. I got my certification in TESOL.
Right.
So just coming to Japan, everything that I'd learned in TESOL, and like the how do you say, the values, not values, what I'm trying to say, like the systems that we learned, because in the TESOL, like for example, when you're teaching a second language, you shouldn't speak the first language,
Right.
things like that. It was a big like eye opener, very difficult to come in and just see like some English classes were completely in Japanese. Is this even an English class? But I think you know, one of the things that Japan differs from like the rest of like the world or even Asia is that a lot of instruction is in Japanese. Whether or not that's a good or a bad thing, that's up for like, you know, the Ministry of Education to debate about. But I always try to like find that that balance between, you know, like if the Japanese teacher is going to speak Japanese, I should be speaking a lot of English to have that balance. So that's one of the things. Other things that ALTs might find difficult is just you know, some Japanese people are really set in their ways, and it's just it's a little difficult to just be like, should we do this instead, because they're really set in their ways. So it's of course ALT is assistant language teacher, so at the end of the day we are there to support the JTE. So if they're set in their ways, the only thing we can do is just go along with it, because at the essence of it, we're just assisting them. We can't really steal their classrooms right under their, you know, right under their feet. That's I mean, sometimes we want to, but it's not. Our role is to assist and just to provide kids with that English communication, and you know, the eyes to the rest of the world.
You know, do you have a favorite go-to game that you like to play to really get your students excited, or you know, about learning, or even just trying to speak English?
Oh, I think it's a game that I play no matter, like, even at a school that my schools that I've been at the school for like since I started, but even when I go to like a new school to sub or to support or something like that, I always love this game. Everybody calls it crisscross. I call it the game of doom, because if you're still standing after I finish asking the questions, you're gonna be dancing. But you get the students to stand up. You teach them row, line, or just me, and then you ask them a question. Then when they get the answer, if they get the answer correct, they can choose row. The kids sit down in their row, because you know, in Japan everybody's in rows,
columns in the rows.
In the rows, so it just makes it easier to play the game, right? You say row, the kids in the row sit down, line, or they say just me. And it's just it's a really good game for me, because I can see how students react, because when the kids just choose row, and then all of them are sitting down, I'm like, okay, that's this kind of classes. They're really kind. But when you see that one kid go like, just me, I like that chaos. And everybody's like, ah! So I really love that. Like, that's one of my favorite games to play, no matter where I go, and no matter what age too, because you can sort of adjust it, right? Yeah.
I love that. So if I was a fly on the wall then in your classroom, what would I see, or what would I hear?
You hear a lot of screaming. I don't know whether it's from me or the students, but especially because that game in particular is warm up. But if I had to be honest, you'd see a lot of singing, because I'm a very big singer myself. I'm not a good one, but I love.
Okay, stop right there. He is so lying. Tui is. Let me not even get. We'll talk later about karaoke.
No.
Talk later about karaoke. Hontoni, this guy. Shut up. Stop right there. Carry on.
Yeah, I love singing. And I think that I've always like so every month I introduce a new English song. It might be something like a pop song, might be a Disney song, it might be it might be Can't Take My Eyes Off You, something like that, right? Really classic song. But there's always like a point to it. Like it might be like, oh, the grammar is what they just learned. The grammar inside the song is what they just learned. But my main purpose is to get the kids singing out loud and using their mouths, because one of the not difficulties, but one of the differences between Japanese and English is Japanese doesn't require a lot of mouth movement. It doesn't require a lot of tongue movement even. It's just a lot of you could speak Japanese without barely opening your mouth. And English, it's a lot different. So like you can hear it with the kids. So when the whole point of singing songs in the class is to get them to open their mouths a bit wider so that they can sing, but also moving their mouth in a way that English is pronounced, right? So you'll be hearing a lot of singing.
Okay. I love that. I love that.
Dancing too.
I was like, maybe some TikTok challenges. I don't know.
Oh,
what are you doing out there?
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so how can someone apply for your company? Like I said in the beginning, when people ask me, oh, what do I need to do to be a teacher in Japan? But they don't realize there's different ways that you can become an instructor in Japan. There's the companies who are just trying to get anyone in here, and they're just being sneaky and doing things on the slide. Then there's official government programs. There are private institutions. So tell us about Interac. For anyone who's listening who is interested in coming to Japan, what would they need to do to apply at your company?
Interac itself has a recruitment process that just requires you to apply online. But after you've applied online, they give you like or you send in your application. It's usually the application, your resume, and they also attach sort of like, I think it's a Google Forms link. I'm not 100% sure what it is now. When I applied back in 2000, I actually applied 2017. So what happened was I applied in 2017, got accepted, and then New Zealand's immigration is known for taking its time. So it took me a while to get my visa and my what we call the COE, which is I think certification of eligibility, so that like you're actually allowed to work in Japan or overseas. So after you get that, you pretty much have to come. All you have to do is come to the country. But it's they give you, before you even do that, right? They give you the sort of Google Drives link so that you can watch like sample videos, and then they say like, please make a video doing, I think there's like 4 tasks. Number 1 is to introduce yourself in Japanese, in English and Japanese. It doesn't have to be like it doesn't have to be like really, really, really professional Japanese. Just like basic like introduction. And you can mix it up with English and Japanese. It's just they want to see their Japanese levels, because if you have really good Japanese level, they'll give you different positions. It's not to say that you'll get different money. It's just that having the more Japanese language ability will make it easier for you to transition in particular areas where it's very Japanese heavy or and stuff like that. But yeah, Interac itself says that it's there's no like Japanese required, but for a lot of people's peace of mind, it's good to get like that little bit of Japanese, just so that it's not necessarily your work that becomes the thing that needs Japanese. It's living in Japan that becomes the necessity for Japan, for Japanese. But it's not to say that like you can't survive without Japanese, because there are some people that have. But just that small Japanese will get you a bit further than most. Not in terms of money or stuff like that, but just like in your life here in Japan. But yeah, I think that's just the process, right?
Yeah, and then so in terms of accommodation and what I mean is like, does someone have to look for their accommodate? Like, let's say they, you apply online and do that. Do you have to worry about money to take a flight to get here, or
Mm,
accommodation?
mm.
Or is like generally for Interac, is flights and accommodation provided, or does it depend on which part of the company you're coming into?
Yeah, I think in not opposition, but in inversely to JET, which is which is a government funded program. They pay for
Right.
your your flights. I think Interact more sort of like visa sponsor as it is like a sponsor of your entire thing. So apart from the flights that you'll have to pay for yourself, I guess. You also Interac also recommends that you bring to Japan 250,000 yen. Now that's not to say that you need that money, but especially if you're not looking for your own apartment, Interac provides you with an apartment that they have. Not that they have a relationship with, but like that they are able to get for you. And phone and internet is also something that a lot of people worry about. That Interac can provide everything for people.
So
like
there's
that.
definitely support for that kind of stuff, because I know this is what people be asking questions about, and this is what they'll be worrying about. Oh my goodness, will I be able to communicate with everyone?
I wouldn't say it's cheap support, but there is support, especially for a lot of people are afraid, like, oh, I'm going to come and I'm going to be homeless. I'm going to have no phone. I can't connect to the internet. And maybe for the first month, it might be like that because everything's still being everything's being set up. I remember when I came in January, and like, because the contracts for Interac start from April to March of the next year. I came in January, which means I had a really short contract, which means like my pay was a bit irregular, and I had no internet, and because I had to wait for like 2 months. So I was going to the convenience store to always like connect to the internet to message my parents. But the support is there, and the support over the years actually has gotten much better. They're providing more services now than when I joined 4 years ago. I think it's post-COVID, like providing all these things now after COVID, because before COVID it was a little bit more relaxed. We didn't have to prepare so much. Now they're providing like more services, more internet, because you never know, sometimes you might have to do like online classes. I mean, not right now, but like I think we just got out of flu season, so classes are closing because of flu, but yeah, things like that. But there is a support there. We have like separate like housing support. So each how do you say, sector of support is different. Like housing support deals with like rent and housing and like repairs if something happens. And then we have the IMPR service, which is our phone rental service, internet, mobile phone rental service. So there's these sectors, and they all help you. Even you get the support from the management as well. And then especially when they come into like particular teams, like the Shinagawa team, for example, for my team, I myself will help them. So like whatever team you're in, your head teachers or your consulting head teachers are there to support you as well.
Awesome. And just to comment, as Tui mentioned, convenience stores, they're everywhere. Like when we, like, you can, I mean, even in the middle of the WAPs in the countryside, you will find a convenience store. So there will always be a way to connect. Like, that's not even a lie. Always be a way to go to the convenience store and get Wi-Fi if you need to. He also mentioned the school year, which runs from April to March. So that's the Japanese school year. And so again, another reason why, I've had Anna on before talking about the JET program, having Tui today, super important, talking about Interac. I've had a lot of other teachers who are, some in kindergarten. I've had international school teachers. It's just so that you know that there are so many different ways that you can get a teaching job here in Japan. And so some schools, like my school runs on the American, like that's like we go from August to June, kind of like the American system. I think kind of like that. So we're currently on summer break, but generally most schools run on that. Even some Japanese international schools run on that like Japanese calendar, which is from April to March. So these are just, again, these are just things important to know. Check the bio of this interview. I will get the Interac information website. It will be posted there. Tui's, social media information will be there. And if you have any questions, I mean, check out the website, connect with Tui. Like it's honestly, there's just so many different ways to get into teaching here in Japan. And, Tui is someone who also, he came prior to coming to Japan, he was also doing teaching back home, right? So he came through, he came with that qualification. Others come straight from uni. And like I say, there's just a lot of different ways, but I think we're the same in saying that, if you want to do it, do it. Like, there's just so many avenues, so many pathways to get into Japan working as a teacher. It can be an OE, an overseas experience where you just finish uni. I like to say you make your experience. So like what you put in is what you get out of it. As islanders, I feel like, people like us here in Japan. Like I feel like, and then as New Zealanders, like I feel like, they're always looking for teachers. And if you're a New Zealand teacher, even better. If you're Pacific Islander, even better. I feel that we're able to connect just in such a different way to our students, to the learners in front of us. So, no, thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing this information. So you've been able to move up, as I've said, through, you currently promoted, working on this, being a head teacher, supporting those who may be new to the company, supporting other ALTs. How does it feel when you know that as a teacher, as an educator, you're valued by your company?
Oh, it feels really. I'm still surprised I'm in this role, to be honest. The person I took over was in the role for at least 10, 12 years. So I was thinking, oh gosh, but I think it's always not, it's not just the company, actually. Just being valued by your school, your students, your coworkers. It's so surreal. Like you feel so much joy. I think for me, especially because I've been in my school for 4 years, and technically there's not like an unwritten rule, but ALTs usually stay in their schools, especially in Interac, for only 3 years. So the fact that I've been in 4 years and like they keep asking for me to come back it makes me like, I don't know, I just feel like
you're doing something
so
right.
joyful. Like
you're
I'm
doing
like,
something
exactly.
right.
It's that. It's just like, well, I guess whatever I'm doing is working because they keep wanting me back. I mean, and this is going like a sort of little bit off track, but like, I always thought like the school was just asking for me to come back because at the moment at that current school, I teach a special needs class, and they're sort of like, they have a lot of antisocial or dissociative disorders. So I thought that like they were just asking for me to come back because we want to keep the same person so that the kids are familiar with the people that are coming through the classroom. But I just they keep saying like, no, it's not just because of that, it's because you actually, we want you here, the students want to sing songs with you in English. I was like, okay, thank you.
That's really cool, man. Honestly, it's really cool to hear that. It's so encouraging. It's inspirational. Really, really. I love what you're doing out there. I want to talk about, Japan life. Like, everyone is always super curious about living in Japan, like what's so cool about it and whatnot. So just real quickly, just what's a favorite Japanese food?
Oh, my favorite Japanese food.
I know it's hard.
Oh, no, it's not. It's not.
Really?
It's gyudon from Matsuya.
Wow.
Because I just have a Matsuya just outside my house.
You're
it's just, I don't know, it hits the spot every time I come home. Long day of work, getting home at 7 o'clock. Just get that takeaway gyudon, just sit down and just be like, I'm home.
Okay. Favorite place you visited?
Osaka.
Osaka. Favorite season?
Winter.
Favorite
I like seeing that snow.
Okay. Favorite
Sorry,
festival?
Yes. Favorite festival. I think summer festivals are great because mostly because a lot of Japanese people start wearing the yukata, and it's just so beautiful to just see them like in their traditional gear.
Favorite drink?
I just took the label off. It's like this fruit drink you can get from the convenience store. It gives you all your vitamins apparently. So
hey, is that a pink drink?
It's like a sort of like pink orange drink.
Oh yeah, I think that's a drink. I didn't even know what it's called, but there's this one drink that I found at the convenience store, and it's because it lists all the vitamins. I'm like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take a photo later and I'll send it to you to ask.
And there's so many like drinks, and like one that I'm I recently addicted to is like one of those drinks. And it tastes like Raro. Like the good old sachet. And I was like,
so whoa. Nostalgic for you, huh?
Yeah, it's like the orange mango, like yeah.
Man, okay. Our favorite dessert.
They're called in Japanese. They're called shukurimu. It's like cream puff with like the custard inside. I love that.
Love. Favorite element of Japanese culture.
The sort of politeness of it.
So are you into anime, like manga? And all of you? I know you're into fashion.
Yeah.
You are very stylish, like fashion type person. Always like color coordinated. It's pretty cool. You into all of that, like gaming, anime, manga, like pop culture.
Pop culture is a really big, like is one of the factors that brought me here.
Okay.
I'm a really big gamer myself.
Okay.
But you know, when I was growing up, you know, like the morning cartoons are always Japanese cartoons, Pokemon, Digimon, Cardcaptor, things like that. So I think like coming to Japan and seeing it here, I think it's pretty cool. Like I'm like, yeah. But I'm a very big drama watcher myself.
Oh.
Yeah. So
you like to watch J-dramas, Japanese dramas?
I like to watch J-dramas. There's certain how do we say genres that I watch of Japanese dramas versus Korean dramas.
Okay.
I also like Korean dramas, but I like the Japanese dramas I like here are the sort of like I guess things like for English media, things like true crime, criminal minds, things like that. So because Japanese really like to put on their little plot twists when they have these like detective and police shows. So I really like that genre here in Japan.
Okay. Are there any things that you don't like about Japan?
I mentioned before about the population.
Yeah.
But if I have to be really specific in terms of population, is as we talked about earlier, the morning rush, and it's not just the morning rush, but the morning rush rage.
Yeah, for real.
And some people will push and shove and elbow you, and I'm just like, hey man, we all got to get to work. There's no need to push. There's no need to do that.
There's always a train every 5-10 minutes. Exactly. Like, why are we doing this?
I myself, I'm very introverted, so when that kind of situation happens, I just get off the train. I'm like, you go. Yeah. I'll wait for the next one. But you know, like I always just like in the inside of me, I'm just like, come on, man, we all got to go to work. You're not the only one that might be running late. Come on, there's no need for elbows.
Yeah,
just put yourself in.
Yeah, man, there's some crazies, and let me tell you, I never thought I'd see the day that this happened, because all this time my experiences with that whole, like when you're commuting during that rage hour has been just men just being like rude, rude dude.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, a few weeks ago, this old woman elbowed me. I mean, I'm not even like a tap. It wasn't even a nudge. I was like, oh, she wants to fight. Okay. At 6:30 in the morning. I was just like, I never thought I'd see the day where I'd look down and it's this old woman. Like, I was just like, oh my God. Not today, Satan. Yeah.
And everybody rushing to the the seats when people get off the train and everybody rushing to the corners.
Yeah.
It's just like, come on, we all get to get somewhere.
Oi.
No need for this.
For real, let me tell you my worst experience on my line. I mean, it's the odd person, but not all the time. Like, I think I've now figured out the times I can go on to avoid that, plus the carriage. But my worst experience, let me tell you, is the Ueno line. So from Kawasaki to Tokyo Station, and I caught I don't know, the something Ueno line, and it goes through Ueno Station. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
I mean, I've been on trains where you're like this squash. But man, this was a whole nother. I have never have I experienced this kind of rage and being squashed on can't breathe. Like, I honestly was like, am I gonna just faint in here? It was just crazy. And it was the fact that, like, people just keep trying to push. And this line, when I'm going to work, you know, they have the notices on the train screen that tells you the lines that are delayed. This line is always delayed. But that morning, I was going to catch a Shinkansen and I missed my train. So I had to switch to that Ueno line. Oh my gosh, never again. Bro, it was like a whole nother. I honestly was like, I can't breathe. And you're just like, I mean, I'm sure I was the biggest person on that carriage, but people didn't even care. They were pushing and shoving. And it wasn't just men. It was like everyone, like you said, just trying to get on the train.
Yeah. And it's that push to get in. Some of them grab the top of the train door and push backwards. They won't push like lightly. They'll like shove people back.
Just so in your face. I honestly was like, I've never like felt that type of anxiety where I was just like, oh my God, I cannot be having a panic attack on this damn train. Like, that was worst experience, and I will never go on that line ever again. It was horrible. Japanese language proficiency test. Have you done any of them or no?
I haven't.
Do you plan to?
I don't know. Like, everybody keeps telling me, take it.
I feel like you're like,
I'm still trying to, like, I don't know. I think because the Japanese proficiency language test tests all factors. Writing is not my best. Writing, because I'm very used to just typing everything out. I never actually write. So if somebody, like, if I have to send mail and somebody sends me the address, instead of me writing their address, I just print it out and
paste it on
the letter.
Which are you better at? Listening, speaking, speaking, right? Reading or writing? Speaking?
Actually, listening is my best. Listening. The reason for that is the reason why I wouldn't say speaking is because I can listen, but sometimes I can't repeat.
Oh my God, that's like me too.
Yeah. I can't. I'll hear that. I'll understand what they're trying to say, and I'll be like, "But how do I answer?"
Yeah, how do I say that?
Answer? Yeah,
I didn't think that though. I thought your speaking would be better.
I think my like in casual conversation, my speaking is, you know, okay, I think it's pretty good.
It is good.
But I think and I noticed, I saw it on your notes. The keigo is difficult for me, right?
Yeah,
keigo is difficult for me, and in my current position, it's very essential because whenever I go to a new school to go support my student, I got to go talk to the principal, and it's always like what like. The problem with keigo is some of the verbs in Japanese change in keigo. Taberu, meshiyagaru. Like, it's just trying to find that balance. Of course, like, in my area, and because of my personality, a lot of principals or vice principals are like, oh yeah, it's okay, yeah. But like, I still have to remember that I'm, you know, in my current position, I am representing the company, so if I'm not using polite language, it's really difficult. So I'm always like, you know, whenever another teacher talks to the principal, I'm always like listening, like, what language are they using, how are they talking to the principal, and just trying to take those words in. But also like it's with speaking, it's a little more difficult. Not just because of the language and the polite language. There's also mannerisms to the way that you speak. Just the way that you project yourself, and your whole body moves too.
Right.
Like you could say like sorry in Japanese, and people, the way you say it would be like, you're not actually sorry, or you're saying sorry because you want to say excuse me, or you're saying sorry because you want to, like, you know, like there's a difference between suimasen and suimasen. there's a difference, right? Like one is like you're apologizing for interrupting, and the other one's like getting attention. Like it's the same word, but the way that you say it. So we have to I have to be very careful, especially intonation in Japanese. There's not much intonation, but the intonation really gives context to the conversation. That's what makes speaking difficult for me, and that's why I'm scared to take the JLPT.
How have you dealt with homesickness?
I just whenever I feel really, really homesick, I send a message to my family or I call them. We have a group chat on Facebook, and it's so funny. Like, I'll instead of going to my individual family members to call them, I'll just call them on that because it's just hard. And it's just so funny when they all pick up. And I'm just like, oh. And one of them's at work. I'm like, go back to work. I just wanted to talk to mum. I don't need all of you here, but it's just nice to just call back. And because my mother and father are the only people that live together now. Everybody else is living in their home, within their home place. Like my sister's in her own apartment. My middle brother is in his own apartment with his mates, and then my brother is living with his girlfriend. So it's so funny when they all pick up, and this you see like different backgrounds, and it's like, hi guys, missed ya. But I think especially for homesickness, because I think I'm not necessarily like homesick. I'm more family homesick. Like every time I feel like, man, I wish my family or my friends were here. And so I'll just we have a wider family chat with all my cousins in it, and I'll just go there and I'll just see my cousins posting their kids, and I'll be like, so I haven't even met some of you, but I love you. It's just getting my daily dose, my weekly dose of my family through staying connected on social media.
Just real quick, the gaijin seat, we always see this on TikTok, people filming about the gaijin seat. Is that real or not?
I wish it was real. I don't want to say it's not real because different people, different experiences. But personally, I wish it was real because I want some seat space. Sometimes some people come and they'll sit like this on you, and you're like, oh. But I can't really. I'm not gonna say it's real or not real because people have different experiences. But for me personally, it's not real, and I wish it was.
Okay? We're good. We can go with that. What are some important life lessons that what is an important life lesson that you have learned while living here in Japan?
I think it's to take the first step. And this could go for a lot of things. It could go for working because it's especially useful for working in Japan, but it can go for a lot of things. Here in Japan, especially Japanese people are very shy. So if you're not going to take that first step, don't expect anything at all. One of the first things that I learned when I was even in school and dating is that if you don't take the first step, nothing's going to happen.
Oh yeah, we've heard your stories.
Have we heard stories?
Sorry, continue.
It's just because if you want something to happen, you have to make it happen. If you're just gonna sit around and wait for it to happen, you're gonna feel more disappointed when it does happen. When it doesn't happen, sorry. You're going to feel more disappointed when it doesn't happen. Of course, you're going to feel happier when it does, but sometimes it never does. And then you're going to feel like, I waited all this time and nothing happened. And that's I just relating it back to work and a recent episode, I've been helping a teacher and she's finding it really hard to just take that first step. And so the communication with the teachers is really difficult because some of these teachers are very strong-minded, right? And I just said, come with me. I took her there and I just asked the teacher some questions. The teacher had a question and then I said, what do you think? And then there was now they're communicating. So I think it's always, trying to break that barrier. Even coming to Japan for me personally is stepping out of my comfort zone. So I think that one of the most important lessons that I've learned here in Japan is coming out of your comfort zone. Like, don't be afraid to go somewhere by yourself, because that's usually a place that couples go to or something like that. Like, if I want to eat my pancakes for two, I'm going to eat my pancakes for two. I don't need to be a couple to eat my pancakes.
You do.
But it's just, taking that, coming out of your comfort zone, taking that first step, doing, taking charge of what you want to happen.
You mentioned earlier, you are a fan of J-drama, Japanese drama, and K-drama. So recommend, for those who love watching K-drama, a K-drama that completely ruined you is an absolute must-watch. Go.
Oh,
I know it's hard. It's hard.
There's a lot.
Top three.
Top three. Oh, I don't even know if I have a top three. Like, there's one that I think I've watched it over and over again, just because, like, the whole, like, storyline is a bit, like, I don't know, it's a bit fantasy, but I just really loved it. It's called Hotel de Luna. And I tell you, IU's in it. IU, every episode she's wearing a different outfit. But like, I tell you, this drama was so, like, touching and so good, like, beautiful for me, because it's like a, like, afterlife kind of thing, like spirits that, like, have uncompleted things, and they just stay at this hotel, and when they're they check out when they're finally ready to move on. Like, that's how the concept is. And I tell you, I was so addicted to this drama that when I went to Korea in 2019, I went to the hotel. I went to the hotel because it's actually a cafe. So they use the place because the place looks like a hotel, and they used it to film for the hotel, but it's actually a cafe. So I went to the cafe and I was like, I'm here.
Okay. Well, there you go. There is a recommendation. Check it out, fam. It's on my like my list. You can on Netflix, you can do the list thing and, like, add that to your list. It's on there. I have so many things I want to watch during the break. What about I forgot what I was gonna say. Are you watching something currently that really got you hooked?
I just finished watching a drama, and it had me, like, broken. I was crying.
Oh no!
But not in a bad way. It's not for everyone. It's part of the BL genre, which is boys love. But it's called. It's based off a manga. I think it's based off a manga or a book. I'm not 100%. It's based off a book. All right. Whether it's a comic book or a written book, I'm not 100% sure, but it's about family, and I think the reason why I loved it the most is because there's this it's a little boy, kindergartner boy, who connects the two main leads together. He's the younger brother of a guy who's dealing with the trauma of losing his mother, and then there is the other main lead is just dealing with not having a family, so he became part of their family.
What's it called?
It's called, oh my gosh, what is it called? Our Dining Table.
Japanese BL.
It's a Japanese BL drama. Yeah, it's not like very, like, with, like, boys love drama. Sometimes it's very boys love and it's very kiss heavy. But I think it's more the cutesy kind of thing. Like, there was barely any kissing in the drama. But I think the thing that, like, made, like got me riled, like, up, like, crying about it is this, like, they both found happiness in each other with that little boy.
Okay, well, there's another recommendation. Check it out, fam. Favorite K-pop group?
Right now it's NCT, and it will be NCT for a while. But there is a new one that popped out, and I really like this song. It's called Boy Next Door.
Yeah, I know. Have you seen the challenge? Of course, I watched the challenge, and then I saw Dio from EXO doing the challenge. So I was just like, okay, I love that. I love that song, the challenge song. And then I thought it was quite interesting because they have, because KOZ, right? That's it's like Zico, right? It's his company. Yes. So you can really see a lot of his style and him in that group. Like, even the I don't know. It's just got, you can tell, obviously, there's a lot of his influence in that group, being it's his company. Anyways,
Yeah.
So that's something you're listening to right now.
Right.
Okay, and then MBTI, which I don't really pay attention to this, but my students, they talk about MBTI. What's your MBTI?
And I've done it multiple times, and I always get INFP.
Oh, I'm ISFP.
The mediator.
I was INFP, and then I think it might have been a few months ago when my students were talking about it again. I was like, oh, I should do it again. And then like I hadn't done it for like a long time. And then now I'm ISFP. So I know what's up with that.
Yeah. I think, and I always be like, I'm going to change the answers. I think I'm a little bit different now, but I always get INFP, which is actually, I think, really, like it's the mediator. It's the tutor.
That makes sense.
And I was like, I think it makes sense. Yeah. Like I was like, I guess that's it. Like I can't fight it.
Yeah. Well, now that I'm ISFP, suddenly I'm like this turbulent adventurer. Don't even get me started. It breaks it right down, and I get it because I know there's a lot of things that have changed, and I'm like, I get why it's like that, because for the longest time I was so happy I was the mediator, but apparently not anymore.
But
so
I know
I
think you do suit the adventure, because I always like watching your little day travels by yourself. I'm like, man, I'm still trying. I want to be that kind of person. Honestly, I want to be an what is it? ISFP. Because it's still a bit like shocking. Like I couldn't even go to Osaka by myself. Like I was like, someone come with me because I'm scared. Like
I think like I was thinking about this maybe a few weeks ago. I think what it is like I've traveled with some people, and so for example, when I traveled, when I went to Busan with Amelia, we were both super chill travelers. Like we shared a room and everything. We were there to perform, and it was like I wasn't anxious or anything like that. It was just like, it was just really nice. But what I find with like traveling is sometimes like you can't travel with everyone. Like what I mean is, even if you're really good friends with someone, it doesn't make you guys like travel buddies, like good travel buddies. So I have learned that. Like I've learned that. So where I've been, when I went with Amelia to Busan, it was really cool. It was super chill. We didn't stress nothing. But then when I've traveled, done other, just like I can't be traveling with people that cause me like anxiety and like cause me to stress out and not enjoy the trip. So that's why a lot of the times I also hate when you're like trying to make plans and people, it just like becomes this whole like, you're an introvert, you know what it's like, it becomes your social batteries it's dimming, you're now like on 1 point whatever percent, and you're trying to organize everything. It's super stressful. You know what this like. And so I hate that, which is why I don't even like plan it for weeks. I might have some ideas and I'll save it on my notes. And then weeks later, when I have the time, suddenly the night before, I'm like, right, book a ticket, go. I didn't even wait. I'm not even going to ask anyone. I just go. And I just, and you know what? It's honestly, it's peace of mind. Try it. Trust me.
Yeah, I will. Because I sometimes I feel like I'm not the best person to travel with, because I'm I'm what we call a poor traveler. When I go to somewhere, I want to do everything because I'm already here and I'm already spending money here. I might as well do things like
Yeah, well, I went to Kyushu. Like, I went to Kyushu for the first time. I'd always wanted to go to southern Japan, and everyone was like, catch a plane and fly down there. But I love the Shinkansen, so I didn't do that. I did different mode of travel. Well, I went to 4 different prefectures when I was down there, and I still didn't get to everything. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna go back when I have time.
Yeah,
it's such a beautiful part of Japan to visit. Like, I would so recommend it. It's so good.
I'd love to.
Okay, so you've got what are some goals at your store? You don't have to tell us our goals, but in terms of career, where do you see yourself perhaps in 5 years' time? Where do you hope that you will be in 5 years' time?
Well, I'm not 100% sure about 5 years time, but in the near future, I want to move on from the ALT life. Not that it's like bad or anything, but I think like I've had my share, and I want to do something a little more challenging. Because you know, I'm really comfortable now, and it's just it's like, I don't know. It sounds like sort of like conceited to say, but I think I'm really good at doing it. Like I can just do it like easily, and my company knows that too, because they'll send me places, right? But I want to do something a little more challenging. So like I got a job offer for next year to be a social studies teacher at an international school, but also be like the homeroom the tutor teacher, the homeroom teacher for that particular year as well. And I was like, oh, that sounds like something I want to do, because one of my main reasons of becoming a teacher was to like find that connection with like the kids. And my current job as ALT, sure, I have a connection, but like whenever I'm not there, I don't know how they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're happy. I don't know if what's going on. And so I want to have like a more direct impact on students. I think taking this role would be a good thing. Like I think it would be nice. I'm not 100% decided yet, and I don't know like how's that gonna go with my new position now. But yeah. And just in terms of my new position, we even as a consulting head teacher, we have to make a goal for ourselves. And my goal this year was to give my team, the ALTs that I manage, a platform for them to share their not their specialties, even if it's outside of education, because there's a lot of interesting human beings. Like I have a person on my team who's an author, who's like a published author. I have someone on my team who's really good at digital art. I have a musician. Like I have so many interesting people, and I I'm always on the top because that's my position. But I want to give the platform for them to. So I want to be able to uplift not just myself, but everyone around me.
I like that. I like that. Before we kind of move towards wrapping up the show, I forgot to mention you speak several languages.
Yes.
So what languages do you speak?
At a fluent or semi-fluent
I mean,
level.
just like
English, Japanese, and Korean.
Korean. That's it.
I have like, and then I don't like speak it fluently, but also it was actually my first language. English is actually my second language.
Yeah.
My first language was Te Reo Māori. And so whenever I hear Te Reo Māori or Cook Islands-Māori, because the language is sort of similar, I can pick it up. I can't speak it anymore. When I was a kid, apparently I spoke it a lot, but I can't speak it anymore because I went through, education, and I sort of lost it. But it's still sitting at the back of my head because I can understand some of it. And I'm currently trying to learn through dramas, Thai.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also tried to study Chinese for 6 months, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do like the tonations. I call my mother a horse. It's the same, but just different intonations.
Okay. So yeah, like I know you love languages. It's cool that you're trying to learn new languages. And
yeah.
Any advice for anyone who's trying to learn a language? What's worked for you? Is it different for every language, or is it generally the same?
I think it's different for every language depending on your like, and I can't say like on your purpose, and I can't say like hey, do it this way, because some people, everybody's a different kind of learner. And I've learned that even teaching English in Japan, that there are just some kids that will always just go back to the books. So what I say is to find what you're comfortable with. But if you want to use language as a tool rather than a skill that you can just put on your resume or something like that, and which is what I always tell my kids too, is it's always good to immerse yourself in an environment with that language so that you can see it in context, but also just speaking. Trying to shake off those nerves, because I don't think my Japanese would be as good as it is now if I just studied in like textbooks. And I think it's the same. Like And I have a lot of good people around me, a lot of good friends, a lot of good co-workers that when I do make a mistake, they're not just like, ew, what did you say? They were like, oh, you mean this? And I'd be like, oh my gosh, thank you. And I think it works both ways, right? Like if I'm like with my coworkers and they say something a bit strange in English, I'm not like, you can't speak English. I'm just like, oh, you mean this? Yeah. And it's always that sort of like exchange of just if you're not using the language, it's not ever going to get any better. That's my personal opinion, because you can study, and it will mean nothing if you can't speak.
There you go, everyone. Some great advice. Self-care, how do you look after yourself? I mean, what do you like to do to kind of disconnect from work and, other things?
As I said before, I'm a gamer, so sometimes I'll just pop into. I play a lot of like online multi MMORPGs, so I'll just live my different life in that game. But a lot of stuff that I do is and I've done it recently is I will go and look for a new cafe, and I will sit down and try something that I've never tried before. But one of the best things of self-care is just relaxing at home. Putting on a Korean face mask and just breathing. Like sometimes it's just hard to find that breathing time when you're always speaking, talking, teaching. So just putting on that face mask, breathing, and just relaxing is one of my best self-care. Like if I don't have that time, I might as well be a zombie.
Okay. That was some great advice there. And do you have a book recommendation? Anything you'd like to plug?
One of the books that I just picked up recently from a friend, I really love it. Let me just pop it up because I forget the name. It's really long. It's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's because it's I don't know. I have a lot of bad habits, I have to say, but like it's the book is basically just giving ways to build good habits and break bad ones. So I'm just I'm reading it, and it's one of the main aspects of it is like making small changes rather than just being like throw that habit out and get this habit. It's making small changes to not necessarily get rid of bad habits, but like change them in a way that they will benefit you and your life a bit more. So yeah, it's called Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Okay, and finally, if a book was written about you, what do you think it would be called?
Karaoke King.
Oh yeah, we did. Okay, yeah. Just real quick before I wrap it up, let me talk real quick. Like I really enjoy going to karaoke with Tui. Like we where we live, like at the end of this line that I'm on, like we get down there and like this one karaoke place that we always go to. It's super chill. I tell you, yeah. One time we got on the last train, but then missed all the other trains, so we ended up at this karaoke place until the first train in the morning, and it's super fam. When I tell you, super chill, and it's always fun when I get a karaoke with Tui, because I always hear music that I've not heard. Like I might hear a song and I'm like, and then I add that to my Spotify. Add that to my list. So yeah, that makes sense. Karaoke King. Okay, we see you. Okay, well, before I, hand it over to you just to close up our show. Oh, there's been so many gems today. I really, really appreciate you coming through, and that I really respect and love what you're doing in your workplace, at your job. I love to see you celebrating those little victories, those little promotions, those big promotions. Like it's so cool to see. And I just really want to encourage you just to keep shining, bright as you want to be, and just keep doing you. Be happy and just continue to just such a vibe. And I'm glad that you said yes. I know you were a bit worried about coming on the show, but thank you so much for bringing a different perspective, especially a different ALT perspective. I feel like a lot of the gems you shared today, a lot of the strategies, a lot of the information about Interac is going to help someone who's listening or watching.
Yeah.
So, this is the last, June is about to wrap up, and, moving into the last part of the year. I just want to wish you a continued success, and just to, just keep shining, keep, rise above it all, and just, where I am. I'm here to see it. I just want you just to strive to be the best that you can be and continue to inspire.
Thank you so much. It was really like big honor to be on this. I was waiting. But I was waiting, but I was like, even if she asks, maybe I'm gonna say no because I'm too shy. But I think thank you for giving me that voice, and also thank you for inviting me onto your platform, because it's beautiful. I love it. I love watching it. And I was like, oh, there she goes. Because I said it to you before, and I'll say it again. This is your thing. I'm seeing you in your zone, and I love it. And I love that I get to be on it. It's my honor.
You're a part of the ReadswithRosa family now. You can't.
Yeah.
There's no way you can get out of it now. You're here. You've done it. Final words, just to close up the show. Final gem or last quote or moment of inspiration, just to round it up.
Wow. I just want to say, like, I said it before, I'll say it again. Take that first step. Be the first one to make your move, because, you gotta, if you want it, chase it. You can dream it, get it. But yeah, I think that's how we should be living our lives. Life's short. You gotta get what you want and take it and own it. Just like we have. Just like you can do it too. And come to Interac. I'm waiting.